Okay, your specialty is musicals.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get interested in the study of musicals? And what's your background? Do you have any background that allowed you to study music?
Oh, a couple of things. All my degrees have been in theater, so I started out getting a bachelor's at Emerson College, theater, and Ohio University, theater, and then the University of Michigan, theater. Also, I came from New York City. This helps a little bit in one's study of musicals, because as a kid, I was one of those people who, other kids on the block would listen to Elvis Presley and the Platters, etc., and I'd be home listening to Rodgers and Hammerstein and Lerner and Lowe and My Fair Lady. In those days, it was so cheap to go to plays that every year I'd save up my money, my $18, $20. Then I'd run down to Broadway and get about 7 pairs of theater tickets. This was way back. So as a result, I saw a heck of a lot in my life with the New York, going to the New York theater. I must have seen about, what would it be, about 250 shows. So I've seen practically every major musical starting in with the mid-50s that is played on Broadway. I will say this, I also had a talent for going on the day when the big star I paid all the money or whatever it was to see wasn't there. I saw Linda Gerard in Funny Girl. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for. I saw Luther Adler in Fiddler on the Roof 2 weeks after Zero Mostel left the cast. It just went on and on like that. But I was able to see them all. So I loved the musical as child and man since I first knew about it. I remember my mother dragging me to the theater. She was into teaching, and she loved musicals too. And first show I saw about 1950 was Boris Karloff and Jean Arthur in Peter Pan, which I think someone, Leonard Bernstein, wrote the music for that. Then the second show I saw was South Pacific, so I was hooked way back from the early 50s. So it's just been sort of an interest or a passion. And I just found myself gravitating toward theater and film and whatnot. Just the natural interests that I have are there.
Is there any kind of change or shift that you see in theater from the 50s to the present?
It's more expensive. I mean, I just said something like buying 7 pairs of theater tickets for $18. You cannot buy one theater ticket for $18 nowadays. And yes, the vibrancy that was there. I mean, you could go down there and the theaters filled all over the place, and you had major stars and whatnot, and it was just heaven on earth because there was so much doing. You go now to the theater on Broadway, there is so much less. I mean, all the costs and whatnot make things so prohibitive. Now you want to see what? 10, 11 shows, you better have $500, $600 with you to allow you to see that many shows. So that's one thing. And also it was a bouncier period. I mean, nowadays we all know about the British dominance, right? We now live in the Lloyd Webber era of the American musical. I've always wanted to do a course where I teach on the American musical, but now if I'm asked to do it, I'll say it's got to be the musical, not the American musical, because the British dominance is so great. But in the old days, it was, you didn't see British musicals. British musicals were dull, slow things, you know. Maybe Lionel Bart would come out with Oliver. That was a little jumpier, but who thought the Brits could do anything in that area? I mean, the Brits did Shakespeare. That was their specialty. The musical was our big thing. And at that age, remember that I was growing up with Lerner and Lowe, Rodgers and Hammerstein, Frank Lesser, just some of the people turning out these musicals. It's the age of Mary Martin, Ethel Merman, Gwen Verdon, Alfred Drake, etc. So it's a very vibrant period, and it's the years that you get the cutting edge. Gower Champion and Bob Fosse, Michael Bennett and whatnot are cutting their teeth, getting ready for the next generation. Stephen Sondheim's coming in the late 50s, or West Side Story, and Gypsy. Again, it's the cutting edge for the next generation. So it was really an exciting period.